productions that have gone on.
Hey!
Hello.
Like, we need to make it a thing that we just because we're gonna not have social interaction for the next 5 weeks. We should just come on here early because I'm always here early. So I'm always afraid my computer's not gonna work.
I know, that's why
We
I
should just
came on
come
too.
early and hang out, y'all.
You know what we should do? We should put on I don't know how.
So I am diving in today. I'm going to tell you about the different ballet styles and different ballet methods because I thought I definitely need to say this now. This was originally in module 6 as one of the videos, and I haven't deleted it, but I'm going to delete it and just move it here because it makes sense if we're talking about basics. Mm-hmm. So I was like, transition. Then I'm going to talk about several famous dancers so we can know about them and we're cool. So let me go into my share. So I'm going to share with you this. So great. Okay, so which is the title of this presentation? And it's famous ballet dancers. No, yeah, I'm recording. It's Know the Big.
Know if you started it.
Know the Big. Oh, let me do stop share. Now you got me yeah, I'm recording. Okay, we're good. I'll go back to share. Lord knows me. Okay, I'm going back again. I'm like, what if? Okay, so go back to present. Okay, so I had fun with the name of this, the idea of being cool. And so know the big names so you can be cool. That's it. So we're on our way to being cool. Wait, do I click like that? Oh, okay, cool. I'm learning how to do this with the Zoom call for the first time. All right, so we're going to first start off with ballet styles and methods. And if you have not already, go ahead and mute yourself. I just muted a couple of you guys, but I can't see all of you. All right, and then let me go to, so first, okay, so for ballet styles, there's classical, romantic, neoclassical, and contemporary. So style variations and subgenres have evolved over time. Okay, it's not just we had, this one thing and place creating ballet and another place creating ballet and another place creating ballet. We started with Louis XIV. He was obsessed with his feet and showing off and displaying his foot. That was his thing. I mean, maybe he was gay. I don't know. There's nothing in history, but it's something I've thought my whole life, and I was like, I wonder. So fun thing, try to see if you can find out his sexual orientation. But I mean, it's Louis XIV. We're talking about way back in the day when I was young and not a kid anymore. Okay, so the early classical variations are primarily associated with geographic origin, which you will see when we go into ballet methods. You'll be like, oh yeah, geographic origin. And then examples of this are the Russian ballet, French ballet, Italian ballet. And then later variations such as contemporary and neoclassical ballet, they incorporate both classical ballet and non-traditional technique and movement, which I will get into a little bit as I dive into Balanchine. The most widely known and performed ballet style right now at this point is the romantic ballet. All right, so let's go. If I do arrows, yes, arrows work. Zot. Okay, so the first one, French, numero uno. So that is the base. That is where it began. That's Louis XIV in 1661. These are things these facts I'm giving. It's not need to know. It's just nice to know. This is what all the ballerinas have had to sit in class and know. So if there is a chance where you can just randomly say one of these names and relate it back, it brings on more trust. They've sat in these classes. I'm hoping to be a little less boring them with a random fart sound or whatever. Okay, so next is Vaganova. Vaganova is Russian ballet technique. That is what this course is revolved around. I did go a little bit further into other techniques, but it's really, that's my background, so that's what's going to naturally come out and be emphasized more without me even realizing it. And it technically mixes both the romantic and French ballet styles. It was created by, I can't pronounce this, Agrippina Vaganova, and he has a book, The Fundamentals of Classical Dance. I've never read it, and he also has Basic Principles of Russian Classical Dance. I'm curious for these two books They were written in 1934 and 1948. If we read them now, if their language would be too advanced for us, because I believe that we've gotten dumber over time, and I think it might be quite eloquently written. Next one is cicchetti cicchetti. It's like cicchetti pasta. It's the Italian one. And it's developed by Enrico Cicchetti, and it has an intense reliance. This was interesting. I didn't know this, on anatomy as it relates to classical ballet, and it's well known for the 8 port de bras they use. So, not familiar with that really, but I'm assuming like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's like some sort of like step by step if you looked into that. But like I said,
Jenna,
yeah.
so like the first one would be like going from second down to en bas to en avant to like.
Wait, stand so we can see if you know this. So stand, demonstrate. Back up.
I don't know all of them, but I remember one of my first ballet teachers used to go over these, but like this would be like one of them, or like a full up to Ano, and then
Oh, so
it's
the
like,
movement
it's
through.
like an entire motion going through multiple positions. There's like 8 of them.
Oh, thank you.
So what do you mean that it has to do more with like the anatomy of it rather than like with the positions?
I'm actually going to turn, because it's not my expertise. Savannah, are you more familiar with Cicchetti and regarding how it relates with anatomy?
I don't know specifically like how it focuses more on anatomy. That's
Yeah.
interesting. If I hear
I thought that
anything,
was
I'll let you
interesting
guys
too.
know.
It's interesting. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it got me to light up too. And I went, really? Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have one quick question though. What did you say Vaganova was a mix of French and what?
Oh, it's a mix of romantic and French.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And where am I in my notes? Okay, then we get to Bournonville. Bournonville is Denmark. So it's a Danish method that was devised by August Bournonville. I don't know why it's all these men. It's so interesting because it's so dominated by women now. It's very, very French influenced. The Denmark one, very, very French influenced, which makes sense. It's the base. And then the key component is the use of diagonal épaulements. So that's where you just saw going, effacé devant, écarté derrière, like all the different positions on that one page. That's Bournonville. And it also incorporates a very basic use of arms, pirouettes from low developpe position into second position. So that's similar to what you're saying in this one for Bournonville, Savannah, which they're saying like for pirouettes, it's always as a traditional journey in the arms when doing something like pirouettes, or use of fifth position port de bras in the beginning and the end of movements. Dancers specifically in the Bournonville method are known to look very light on their feet. So I am interested as the Vaganova base that I'm in, because in general, that is the goal for all ballet, is to look light on your feet. So I'm curious, like is it really that different? So yeah. Then RAD, R-A-D, the Royal Academy of Dance. Yes, go for it, Savannah.
Wait, so I don't know if this would make it look lighter on your feet, but you guys know Bournonville Jeté, right? The one that like has a battement on the front and an attitude in the back with like the twisted épaulement arms opening up,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if, because they use this sort of like this type of motion a lot. And I'm wondering, like, they twist their bodies a lot.
Maybe like the palms up.
attitude.
The palms up will give that lighter feeling on the upper.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it has something to do with this, like, I don't know.
Maybe. Honestly,
I can chime in with 2 cents on that too, if you like.
Yes.
I think there's also a foundation in similar to French, but Bournonville basing a lot of his postural and a lot of his movements based out of the court dancing kind of foundation. Like I said, similar to French. So they're like, especially for females, their garb was very heavy and their court dancing styles was always very stiff and grounded. So it was kind of breaking away from that.
That's so interesting. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, and like they're like the emphasis on posture was because like the basis of a little bit, like I said, regionally in Europe, the basis of course dancing was very gestural. There was a lot of like palm flicks, palm up versus palm down, and they were very low. So he transitioned that into his ballet and technique style.
Love that. Love that. Thank you, Alexis.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's also where coupe, like the coupe position came from, because of like longer dresses. I think that's the other part that made Bournonville unique. Like that's where we got like coupe and sur le coup de pied, because they're like historically their stuff came very low and you could barely just see the ankles.
Yeah. So I have the pirouettes from a low développé position into seconde. So,
it was from that, and then like later on as we went into Romantic era and things started getting shorter.
Yes. Thank you. RAD, Royal Academy of Dance. So this is an English style. So this is when I was saying, I hope you guys are noticing where I'm saying Italy, I'm saying France, I'm saying Denmark, how it's just in different areas. This is an English style. The goal of this method is to promote an academic training in classical ballet throughout Great Britain. And there are specific grade levels to complete in order to advance. And so they actually, at the very beginning, have a very slow progression in the technique. So there's a large amount of effort to perfect basic steps. Like it is really, really anal retentive. And this makes it advancing to harder steps easier. So they spend a lot of time on the basics, and eventually as they improve, they can slowly add in and it gets faster. I thought that was very interesting. I have a friend who had trained under that, which was really cool. I hear a man's voice. Who joined us?
Joe.
Joe! Good to see you, Joe.
Yeah, I got my, I'm getting a new video, external video soon. Then you'll be able to see who I am.
It's so exciting. It'll be the big reveal. We'll be like, who's this guy? We don't know him.
Mystery.
Oh, good to see you. All right. So this moves me to Balanchine. So Balanchine, and it was on the slide before as well as a ballet method. And this is the one that I grew up on seeing a lot of, because it was just like the talk of the time, because he broke a lot of, from what I learned as in Vaganova, a lot of the rules. So it's an American style. It's created by George Balanchine. He was inspired by Vaganova, and his technique is known for extreme speed throughout routines. And that is a funny thing, because Balanchine specifically was known to always say that he wished his dancers could do it faster. That was like a thing. He'd always want them to try to do it faster. And there was a lot of emphasis on lines, deep pliés, and unorthodox positioning of the body. Now, when I say unorthodox, I'm not talking about the Jewish religion and that Passover is coming up. I'm talking about that he would have them tilt, like a known difference was to flex their hands or flex their feet or do off-balance positioning. Even in a développé, the idea of sometimes even lifting the hip to get the leg up, which was like, ew! I was from a school where we dogged them. I was like, oh my God, look at what they're doing. School of American Ballet, which is the ballet school connected with him. So, yeah, is that all I want to say? Feet, balance. The other companies that currently do his ballet style, Balanchine's ballet style, are Miami City Ballet, Ballet Chicago Studio Company, and the School of American Ballet, which I just mentioned. All right. And it's for short SAB. A lot of people say SAB. Okay. And let's see. I want to say more on George Balanchine. So he trained at the Imperial School of Dance, similar to Nijinsky, which I will get into next, who is a big ballet star from back in the day. And he also studied at the Conservatory of Music. He studied piano and music theory. He, in his career as a dancer, when he was 17 years old, imagine 17 years old, he joined the Mariinsky Theater Ballet Company. And he ended up getting a knee injury. I haven't seen anything going into detail of what his knee injury was, which I'm sure we're all curious about. He had a knee injury which started to limit his dancing. And that's what moved him into becoming a ballet master. First, he was at Diaghilev's, I'm going to mispronounce everything, Ballet Russes. He was there until 1925. And he was doing his choreography then at the Royal Danish Ballet. And then He ended up moving over here and to New York. And in 1934, he founded both the School of American Ballet and New York City Ballet. So they're known to, if you're not aware of this, the School of American Ballet is essentially like the school and then the professional company, essentially. And out of pieces, he has a famous piece called Serenade, and there's over 400 dance works that he has done in his whole life, which is crazy. Okay, so let me go. I want to see if I can play just a little bit of Serenade. I love Serenade. I remember always seeing people, and this is literally everything that I read to you guys. I remember seeing people do it, and I never got sick of it. I just think the lines and the timing that he creates is so beautiful. I don't know if the sound's gonna work. Hold on, let me try unplug.
Just a minute and 36 seconds. See how she lifts her hip?
I'm not sure if we can see it. Is there a video?
Yeah, we can't see the video.
This whole time, I thought you guys could see it. That is the funniest.
We can hear it.
I can only see George.
Could somebody please videotape my reactions on that?
I was happy listening to the song.
I was like, I thought you guys were watching. Thank you for saying something. Okay, let's go and see what happened. I'm not gonna announce it. I think maybe
I thought we were just going for the music. I was like, yeah, you're good.
Wait, let me tell you. Okay, that was amazing. That was
I was like, you got it, man.
so strong and wrong. It was great. I'm going to share my whole desktop. That way I don't have to worry about that happening again. Okay, great. Now you can see it.
Yes, we're
Oh my
good.
God. That was so like a record Jenna's reaction moment. Okay, here we go. And play. Pausing. Were you saying something to me, signaling me?
No.
Okay, I thought I was getting feedback. I was like, what? I can fix it. You see how he has him doing the flex hands? Brilliant! Oh, good job, San Francisco Ballet. The good old ballet. All right.
No, I was commenting because I was like, dang, they are running.
Oh, yeah.
He's need for speed. Like,
Running is a definite needed skill in ballet. Faux show. Okay, so, and I have video that I'm going to be showing for several people. Is this better without the headphones? Can you hear me okay? I was doing headphones before.
Oh, I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, same thing.
Awesome. Great. Then we'll do this. Now we're moving into famous ballet dancers. Vaslav Nijinsky. Look at that. I mean, there were other pictures, but I love this one. because of the costume he's wearing. Honestly, he looks like very female to me in this picture. So I think that was pretty cool of the time. I didn't read anything about that being a bad thing. He was a revered dancer. So he trained Vaganova. It's Russian style. And he first started training just like Balanchine at the Imperial School of Dancing. In his career, he was a soloist at the Mariinsky Theater in St. Petersburg in 1907. And then in 1909, he went to Sergei Diaghilev's Ballet Russes. He had special performances, the Les Spectres de la Rose and Petrushka. They were both by the same choreographer, Michel Fokine. I'm not going to pronounce anything right. He's known for choreographing Afternoon of the Faun, and his career ended early. It ended at age 29. He had a nervous breakdown that was later diagnosed as schizophrenia, and he ended up, so that's at age 29, but he died at age 61 on April 8th, 1950 due to kidney failure. And then I titled this next little part Fun Facts because I wanted to find fun facts, but sometimes they're depressing, so don't be confused by the word fun. I just couldn't figure out what else to say other than fun facts. So that's just how it sounds. So
really fast, Jenna.
Yeah.
Isn't this picture of him doing the Spectre of the Rose?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And then fun facts. So he often missed school because of his busy ballet schedule, and he had poor grades because of it. Another fun fact. Actually, this is sad. He was in and out of hospitals for 30 years because of his poor health. So you're saying, so at age 29, he had the nervous breakdown, schizophrenia, and he died at 61. Literally after that, he was in and out of hospitals all the time. And it was both schizophrenia and also just health problems. So pretty unfortunate. All right, Anna Pavlova. I heard her name said so much when growing up and in ballet, and I never looked up anything. And then I was taught I still didn't care, and this forced me to go back and be like, oh, right, yeah, I learned about her. Okay, so she's a Russian prima ballerina. So Russian. So she actually learned a combination of training, Vaganova and Cecchetti. Vaganova, remember, it's Russian, and Cecchetti is Italian, pasta, Cecchetti. And that she was exposed to Cecchetti because a guest teacher came and taught her that style as well. She also trained at the Imperial School of Dancing, and her career, similar to Nijinsky, she performed at Mariinsky Theater, and she was most renowned for dancing her solo, The Dying Swan, and it was choreographed by Michel Fokine, and she has a book. It's Swan, The Life and Dance of Anna Pavlova, and her career it never did. She was actually dancing all the way till when she passed, which I thought was so cool. She ended up passing on January 23rd, 1931. She was 49 years old in The Hague, Netherlands. And fun facts, oh yeah, this one. It's so random, but I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. She had a rivalry with this other dancer named Tamara Karsavina. And according to a film, this dancer recalled she had a wardrobe malfunction, and during the performance, her shoulder straps fell off and she accidentally exposed herself on stage. And Pavlova yelled at her and embarrassed her so much that she got her to cry. I was like, oh, wow. So it's dark. I don't know if Anna was like mean and everything, but it was just like, oh, that's so interesting. Just a fun fact. Okay. And let's see. Oh, and for the record, going backwards, for Nijinsky, I found some video, but it's so bad. It looks almost like those picture books where you it's like slowly has the person moving. It looked like that, but it never really showed him fully dancing. So I was like, I think it was probably just a bunch of pictures, and they're like, it's a video. So yeah, it was unfortunate. Okay, so next let's go to, and I didn't get a link of her dancing. Yes.
Question.
Yes.
So if she died so young at like 49, did you find out why? Do we know why she died?
I did not get why she died on her. I did not get her if it was if it was something interesting. I did good on other people, but not on her.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. All right, and look at us during these dark times wondering about the deaths, but I'm curious too. Trust me, I've been having fun with this. Okay, next, Alicia Markova. She's an Italian dancer, Cicchetti, and she's the first, oh, I'm not going to say this right, prima ballerina assoluta. So assoluta means she's like the supreme prima, absolute supreme prima ballerina. So you know the beauty competitions that parents have their young daughters go in and they're wearing adult makeup? You've seen, you know, they've done like TV shows on this and they're like, it's supreme, absolute supreme, da, da, da. That's literally what this reminded me of. So we have the prima ballerina, now we have the prima ballerina assoluta, you know, an absolute supreme. I'm like, okay, great. So you're the best of the best. Got it. Training. So she also trained at the Imperial School of Dancing. It reminds me, Imperial School of Dancing, as I've been diving in and connecting these people more, reminds me of the Mickey Mouse Club when Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, and they were all together. And if you look at all the people who are on there, they're all so famous now. That's what I think Imperial School of Dancing was at this time. And and she also studied piano and music theory at the Conservatory of Music. In her career, she also performed with Sir Diaghilew's Ballet Russes. She only danced a few roles, and then she also went to Vic Wells Ballets, and she was the first prima ballerina there. The Vic Wells Ballet is now known as the Royal Ballet, but she danced there before it got that title, the Royal Ballet. That's in England. And she became very known for dancing the role of Giselle. And yes, I have a video for this. Oh wait, let me say more stuff, and then I'll show you the video. So we really have something to look forward to. It's like when you get to eat on Passover finally. You've been waiting for a long time, you finally get to eat. Same kind of idea. There's a book on her, Giselle and I. And then that's actually really good marketing, especially because she was so well known for Giselle and she wrote a book on it. She knew she would make good sales on that. So I thought the title of the book was smart. She ended up being a ballet master and she founded the Markova Dolin Ballet with Anton Dolin in 1935. And then in 1950, she founded Festival Ballet. And it's now known, the Festival Ballet is now known as National Ballet. And did I get everything? Career ending, January 1963. She retired from ballet and was appointed the director of the Metropolitan Opera Ballet when she was 52 years old. Then she ended up passing away from a stroke. I got this one. In the United Kingdom on December 2nd, 2004. She was 94 years old. God bless her. Fun facts. Her father was Jewish, and her mother converted to Judaism. I love these fun facts. Okay, let me escape. I know you guys see the whole screen, so we won't have the same mishap. All right. Here we go. Boom, boom. Oh, it's gonna be so amazing. I try to get short ones. Oh my gosh, wait till we get to Baryshnikov. Oh, his videos. The Dying Swan, what she was known for.
I never wanted to be myself on stage. It was when I could try and become somebody else.
So I'll just stop there because this video kind of goes in and out like that. But you get the idea. Okay, and then boom, getting to presenting again. Great. Margot Fontaine. She's my favorite. I know I'm doing a lot of Jewish jokes and themes, but you know, whatever. I get through these phases and I find something humorous and I stick with it for a few days and then I move on. So Margot Fontaine, she was my favorite. I completely looked up to her personally as a ballerina. I spoke about her at my bat mitzvah, her and Rudolf Nureyev. She was named Dame Margot in 1956, which is like a big deal in England. She's an English ballerina. So anybody remember English, which ballet method that was for the English?
RAD.
Rad.
Yep, RAD, Royal Academy, RAD, RAD, yes, Royal Academy. All right, where did my eyes go? All right, she was not the first prima ballerina, she was the second prima ballerina assoluta. Who was the first prima ballerina assoluta? Alicia Markova! Ah, the crowd's going wild! The girl we just watched do The Dying Swan. She was the prima ballerina assoluta. So I think it's funny that it says ass in it, by the way. ASSOLUTA. When I first read it, I was like, it's absoluta, just because I didn't want to read ass, but it's assoluta. Okay, so training. She started at age 4. And she studied, actually, in the midst of the other schools I'll mention, she studied in Shanghai for 5 years because her family moved to China. I thought that was pretty cool. She also trained at the Sadler Wells Ballet School and Vic Wells Ballet School and Royal Ballet School. But as I said before, Vic Wells Ballet School eventually became the Royal Ballet School. So it's the same thing. It's just a redundant thing to say. So she danced with the Royal Ballet in her career, and she was a big muse for the choreographer Sir Frederick Ashton. And at the end of her career, she danced with Rudolf Nureyev. And this was considered one of the greatest partnerships in history. And that's what I watched on VHS. There's this VHS movie called Fontaine and Nureyev, The Perfect Partnership. It is so stunning. Oh my God. She has a book called The Magic of Dance. And her career ended in the 1970s. And her death was on February 21st, 1991, which it's just crazy to me that I didn't meet her before she died, because I was alive then. And she was in Panama City, Panama, and she died of cancer at the age of 71. Yeah, I know. There's not a lot of smooth deaths, unfortunately. Fun facts, she preferred doing a pas de deux. And that makes sense if you think about her collaboration with Nureyev. And she was married to a Panamanian diplomat, Dr. Robert Arias, who was shot by a fellow diplomat, which made him quadriplegic. And I have a picture. Of him. I was so interested in that, because to have somebody who's a dancer and then her husband lose a lot of physical abilities. So boom. Wait, come on, work with me. And it's a cute picture because it's with their child. Like, oh my God, look at that. Look at that. That's it. But I wanted to see, that's a very, very big deal. Okay, which leads me to, don't worry, I will get to video, but it's not on her. It's when we get to Nureyev. So let me go to present. Which gets us to Nureyev. He's actually the person on the right. Well, obviously, because there's a girl he's partnering with. I couldn't find pictures of him that I wanted to use through Google when creating these slides. So I was like, it's fine. That's him over there. You'll get to see a video of him too, which will be just out freaking standing. He's so good. He's Russian trained, so that means Vaganova. And he trained at the Kirov Ballet School, and he had a career where he was a soloist at the Kirov Ballet, which is, Kirov Ballet, for the record, is the most important ballet company in Russia. So that's like the place to go. Then he was a Royal Ballet guest artist at the age of 23. That's when he danced with Margot Fontaine. Oh, I forgot. Fun thing that you can do if you get bored while you're stuck at home. I wanted to figure out and calculate the age difference, how old Margot was when she danced with him, because he was 23 and there was apparently like a big age gap there. And like I said, that video, of them together dancing, and and then he ended up dancing throughout Europe at a lot of major companies because he was really good. He was good to work with. He ended up being the artistic director at the Paris Opera Ballet in 1983, and there he was also the chief choreographer. He retired in 1989 and died in 1993. So 4 years after retired, on January 6, 1993, he died, and it's because he had AIDS. Fun facts. This is actually not fun. It's stuff that's more serious. He was known to have a volatile temper, where he would throw temper tantrums where he was frustrated, and he went to Studio 54 a couple times and ended up growing an intolerance for celebrities, apparently. He was, on a bright side, he was extremely considerate as a dance partner. Everybody loved dancing with him. He was a very, very good collaborative artist. And he was actually bisexual or homosexual. People aren't sure if he was one or the other. So who knows? All right, now we're going to go to a video clip. So this is of them dancing together. I've watched this so many times. Romeo and Juliet is my favorite ballet, and it's most definitely, I hit escape. Why are you frozen? She's not working with me. Oh, there we go. Yes, no. Wait, she's not working with me. Like literally, I'm pressing escape. It's not working. There we go. You just hit it like 5 million times and it'll work. Okay, so clicking and then boom. I want to say a side note before this one goes that I think is super interesting. And it's just, I personally, when we go through these dancers, though we haven't gotten to technique yet, what I find super interesting is back in the day, somebody like Alicia, who we looked at earlier, dancing, doing the Dying Swan, I can blatantly see so many technical things that are incorrect, that where I'd be like, oh my gosh, you need to fix that, where I see less of that as we get into today's performers. And I'm not really sure if it's because they were just less picky, or if they just were accepting of having those flaws. People were working and doing their very best, or if it has to do with the evolving of ballet forms that we learn, which gets us to rotate and develop and do things a certain way and get things to a certain height. All right. JRH Films is very helpful. We're not doing the whole thing. There we go. Quick clip also because I will probably lose sense of time because I personally love it so much. All right, move your faces over here so I can hit present. All right, Sylvie, anybody know how to pronounce her last name? Guillaume?
Guillaume.
Guillaume?
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Guillaume. Sylvie Guillaume. So French dancer. She's a French dancer. Her training began at the age of 11. So I thought that was interesting that she started so much later in her life at the Paris Opera Ballet. And she also did gymnastics with her mother, which is super, it just makes so much sense because she was really known for her flexibility and ease with her flexibility. She began her professional career at the age of 16 and was known, like I said, as a remarkably flexible dancer at the Paris Opera Ballet. She was there from 1984 to 1989. And then she was a principal guest at the Royal Ballet and danced also with Rudolf Nureyev. Her career ended on December 31st, 2015. She is still alive. Fun facts. I was trying to find, there was less stuff on her, but there was a random quote that I found with her saying, "I'm not nice." I don't know. Take it as you want, but I thought it'd be funny to just give that fun fact out there. I do have a film for her as well of her dancing. And I wanted to get, this is just specifically so you can see her flexibility, which honestly I see in a lot of ballerinas, but what she's specifically known for. All right. This is from Paquita. It's a ballet called Paquita. Ten puttes. Okay, great. That is her.
Question.
Yes, go for it.
So, I mean, obviously, I feel like a lot of ballet companies are like this now, but I feel like when I was learning about all this stuff, Paris Opera Ballet was always the one that was known for like the super skinny, super hyperextended, like crazy extension dancers who all looked exactly the same, maybe besides Kirov. But I wonder, do any of you guys know if maybe she was one of the ones who kind of made that the stereotype there? You know what I mean?
Well, she's French. So maybe I didn't see anything on that, but that's a very good question. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I love where your brain goes though. Love it. Okay. I now I'm still stuck on Savannah on your first question on how did that person die. I'm like, I don't know.
Well, that's interesting, right? 49.
Yeah. Okay, Mikhail Baryshnikov. I did a game of charades years ago, and I wrote it down. I wrote Baryshnikov as a thing on a little piece of paper, and people didn't know who it was. Fortunately, there was one other person who happened to move here. It was actually my ballet director's son, and he had come over for game night as well. And he was the only person who knew who Baryshnikov was in the room. I'm like, what the heck? This guy is like huge. He's huge. So Russian and American ballet dancer. He went by Misha, and he was Vaganova trained. And there was a quote, and I thought this was an important one to say: the most perfect dancer I've ever seen. And when you see videos, if you haven't seen it before, he's just so stunning. Training, Vaganova Ballet School, he trained Vaganova, and his career, Kirov Ballet, like I said, that top place to be dancing in Russia. He was also a principal at the New York City Ballet for one season from 1978 to 1979 at American Ballet Theater. You also can refer to American Ballet Theater as ABT, 1974 to 1978. And that's where he partnered very famously with Gelsey Kirkland. and who was another dancer I'll get into in a second. He ended up dancing at the National Ballet of Canada for a period of time. He ended up traveling and dancing with a lot of people. I mean, he's huge. Everybody wants a piece of him. So, and then he ended up coming back to the American Ballet Theater to be the artistic director. He was there from 1980 to 1989, and also from 1990 to 2002, he was artistic director of White Oak Dance Concert. He was in 2 movies, The Turning Point, he had some nominations for that, and then also White Nights. Obviously, he was dancing in both of these. And he was also in the Sex and the City movie as one of the lovers. If you don't know it, he is in there. His career ending, this is what I had to say about his career ending. It's not clear anywhere when his career ended, because he continued to dance sporadically in projects even when he was an artistic director. There was never an official, this is my end thing. Death, he's still alive. So you can still get his autograph. Fun facts. This is like turning to you guys, because this just always, I never got to see it, but I heard he created a piece where he danced to his own heartbeat. I'm like obsessed about this concept. Yes, I know. Exactly. I'm like,
I want to see that.
I know. And I'm like, how the heck do you do it? Anyway, known womanizer with ballerinas. He was a shit to women. He was famously known for dating Jessica Lange. For those who don't know her from her films back in the day, she's also a leading actress in American Horror Story. She was the mother of the disabled child. She's actually really a beautiful human, like when she was younger too. I still think she's beautiful now, but yeah, she's a hottie. And he learned English from television. I just think it's funny. I've joked to my dad about how he learned English from reading the captions in foreign films. And he defected from Russia in 1974. There was a whole thing where he was trying to separate himself from Russia, and that's what brought him to Canada for a while, so he wouldn't have to be called back to Russia. It's a weird thing. I was a little confused in it. I didn't want to spend that much time diving in, because the more I started to learn, the more I knew I would need to learn. And I was like, no. So I moved on with my life. But feel free looking into the defecting thing. I'm still more interested in the piece where he danced to his heartbeat. Okay, let's go. I have 2 videos for him because I was like, I have to show. So the first one is from The Turning Point, and it's up to him doing a ballet. I'm going to show the whole thing. And the second is a clip from White Nights, which I saw back in the day, and I knew exactly what clip I was wanting to find, and I found it, and it's great, and I can't wait to change your lives when you see it. I just can't. He just makes it look so easy. It's so good. It's so good. All right.
When I was teaching a lot and I would have boys in my class who didn't want to do ballet, I would pull up videos of Baryshnikov and make them watch it, and they were like,
yeah.
yeah.
He makes it look so easy, and
it inspires people.
Yeah, so good. My God.
Hi, I'm Andrea, and I'm the creator and founder of Extend Bar. Because of my dance and Pilates background, I really wanted to marry those two genres.
Skip that. There we go. We know about Andrea now. All right, so this is the clip. Let me just go to this. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. Just spin it.
That's all. That's all. Just 11 pirouettes. That's it. No big deal. Just need to show you that clip because, yeah, I watched that 5 million times as a kid. Still never gets old. Never gets old. He's freaking ridiculous. But see, the thing is, like, in my opinion, I don't think he's like just outwardly like good looking, but with that talent, yeah, of course he bet a lot of women. My goodness. He could bet whoever the heck he wants. Kelsey Kirkland. I took a picture of a picture to get this because this is of her dancing with Baryshnikov. I remember watching this on television. It's beautiful. They did a great job. Obviously, that's going to be the video that I share of Kelsey Kirkland, her with him. So she is an American ballet dancer. She trained at the School of American Ballet, SAB, remember, Balanchine? She joined New York City Ballet at the age of 15 years and became a soloist first, and then she was a principal. She joined the American Ballet Theater in 1974, where she was most famous for dancing the role of Clara in Baryshnikov's televised production of The Nutcracker. Her books. Okay, if there is one book you need to read that is the book of all books in the ballet world, it's Dancing on My Grave. Like, it is the staple, in my opinion, the staple one, not because it's going to make you a better ballet dancer, but she talks about her eating disorders, her issues with drugs, her different sex partners, like the dark side of it. And it is just so fascinating and just like, wow. It's the one to read. She has another book, The Shape of Love. That's really interesting because that's when she's finally come out of drugs. She really focuses on acting a lot more in that book. Clearly, I've read both of these books. And The Shape of Love, that is what her ballet company, the Kelsey Kirkland Academy of Classical Ballet in 2010, it's all a big focus there is about acting and being in the moment as an actor, as a dancer. So it's interesting, her journey at where she started off as just, this technically beautiful dancer and then got into the acting component so much. And here is a video, and you see it's pretty obvious how thin she is, but her dancing is just stunning. Okay. And her acting is very good too. Yeah, we're not watching that part. Okay. I mean, she just looks so freaking light on her feet. The way she moves, I'm just, she's got the moves, baby. She's got the motion. So good. I always like to imagine that I got that good. Okay. Good old Kelsey. So still alive. Fun facts. Forgot about this. Oh, her career ended in 1984. I don't have like a big thing about it because that's when she stopped dancing. And fun fact, she was repeatedly fired and rehired from the American Ballet Theater, ABT, for drug abuse and erratic behavior. It was her partner Patrick Bissell, who introduced her to cocaine, which the two did together. Kirkland said many of the dancers in the company were doing all kinds of drugs to cope with the pressure of dancing. Whew! Did she get deep? Alessandra Ferri, pasta. Alessandra, you can see it in the name, pasta. She's Cicchetti. She did Cicchetti. She trained at La Scala, theater ballet school. Her career, she danced at the Royal Ballet from 1980 to 84. She was then the principal dancer at American Ballet Theater, ABT, 1985 to 2007. And La Scala Theater Ballet named her prima ballerina assoluta after a guest performance. Her career ended in 2007 after performing Romeo and Juliet, but then she ended up performing, she's returned to ballet's performance like a surprise guest appearance in 2013 and 2017, which is quite recent. She's still alive. Fun facts, she stated that she needed more of a rigorous training program that American Ballet Theater could provide while it was under the direction of Mikhail Baryshnikov. I was like, oh, well, Alessandra. Okay, let's go to her video. Boom, scada, boom, 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 ba, 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 ba. Come on, Alessandra. And so I wanted to share one where she's working with Mikhail Baryshnikov because you just saw one with him with someone else. Might as well, you know. Okay. Yeah, there he is. Act 2 of Giselle. There he is. I wonder what her leg's doing. All right. Boom chaka-chaka. That is her. Good old swan. Not really, but felt like one, right? Okay. Here we go. Boom. Missy Copeland, we're into today. This is our last dancer. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, so Missy Copeland, if you don't know her, now you know. If you don't know, now you know. She's the first African-American principal ballerina at American Ballet Theater. She has been featured so much in press. She has not only danced with ballet companies and featured everywhere in commercials and just everywhere. She's also been on Broadway. The Broadway. She's fantastic. Her history is so interesting. She actually started dancing at a Boys and Girls Club in California, and it was just from a suggestion. You might want to try that out. And then she ended up dancing at the San Pedro Dance Center at the age of 13. From there, she went to the Lauridsen Ballet Center in Torrance, California. And actually, I'll get into that. Yeah, it's part of the fun facts, I think. Is it part of my fun facts? Okay, so let me explain. I don't have in my fun facts, but this is just what I know about her. So there was this whole thing where a family was helping her parents out with housing her and getting her to her ballet classes and everything. It was a whole ordeal. And she had a lot of friction with her parents, to say the least, where they were trying to like pull her away from them at some point, the family that was helping her out, because the mom was getting jealous, and didn't like that she was getting so close to this other family. And her mom at one point even was like, wanted her to stop dancing because of it. Thankfully, she did not listen. Okay. Her career, she was a soloist in 2007 at American Ballet Theater, ABT. I keep saying ABT because people might say it to you that way. And then principal at ABT in 2015. Her career has not ended. She is still alive. Fun facts. She grew up idolizing this other ballerina who I'm not mentioning, Paloma Herrera, beautiful dancer as well. I mean, the list could go on other dancers, but I was like, I'm just going to just highlight some ones from back and then really kind of go over. But Paloma Herrera is another huge name. And also Mariah Carey. She actually loves Mariah Carey. She recently, no, I don't know exactly when, but she finally got to meet Mariah Carey, and she did this whole thing on social media where she finally got to meet Mariah Carey. It was really, really cute. I did write it here. Copeland recalls that at one point in her dance career that in 1 month she gained 10 pounds and her small breasts swelled to a double D size cup, which is absolutely unheard of in ballet. If you guys don't know, in ballet, they essentially want your body to be like a board. I'm saying like, this is profile. Oh, I just passed your boobs. Oh, I just passed your butt all the way down. Like that's what they want. And so to get those boobs was a problem. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm not fitting in with other people. Leotards had to be altered for her in order to cover her cleavage. And she hated this sign and because it was so different from the others. And she became very self-conscious of that. And it made it difficult for her to dance as strongly as she knew she could. Obviously, she got over it. They've created dance lines around her. I mean, the fact that her body is not the stereotypical board has been very groundbreaking as well. She is thin as heck. She's fit as heck, which you will see in this video that I'm going to show. And her husband, actor Taye Diggs, introduced her to her lawyer husband. I'm just like, but you didn't marry Taye Diggs? Whatever. Taye Diggs is so hot, but I mean, she married a lawyer. I mean, she's doing fine. It's Misty Copeland. Okay, so let's go to her video. Turn the video on to the sweet sound. What? Yeah, that's the end. Okay, so we need to get to her video. Oh, and I love this. I love this video so much. Not only it's for Under Armour, but what I love about this video is it celebrates her body, and then her technique is just so outstanding and like showing seconds of her moving. Oh my God. Obsessed. We're watching the whole thing.
Can't see anything.
What?
So you're watching it.
I can see.
Oh, I can't. Hold on.
Let me
Got it.
Oh, did something happen in your screen that was different?
Unfortunately,
Pause. Can everybody see it? Great. Full screen. Boom.
Dear candidate, thank you for your application to our Ballet Academy. Unfortunately, you have not been accepted. You lack the right feet, turnout, Achilles tendons, and leg and torso length.
Jesus.
I know.
You simply have the wrong body for ballet. With your body, you could be a professional dancer in Vegas. And at 13, you are already far too old to be considered. Even those who have the body and the training, still most will never make it.
This is ridiculous. Oh my God. So inspiring. All right, boom. off that. All right, which gets us to the end of that. What I really like about all these different dancers, like I mentioned earlier, is that it really, let me go to stop share because that'll be, what I like about all these dancers is it's really showing how it's evolved so much. And then we're ending with this whole thing with physicality and how they physically look. But if you look at pictures of even Alicia, I didn't really think she was like thin. At somewhere along the line, this idea of needing to be a stick came into play. So we like went backwards, and now this push to go forwards. But she is thin. I mean, she's thin, she's fit, but she's just not that bored. I think most of us would kill to have a body like that. That's absolutely incredible. And the way she moves, whoo! Anyway, any questions, comments, stories, boom, boom, of a dancer that you've seen or somebody that you might want to share? Oh, let's start with that. Anybody have a dancer they want to share that you know of that you're like, oh, is also a good person to know?
Well, the big buzz in Salt Lake has been for the past, probably since like 2012, 2011, if you guys heard of Breaking Point on the CW, Beckhann Sisk. Look her up. She is crazy good. Like, I go to see Ballet West all the time, and she got engaged to one of the other principals in the company, and they are like, just, it's incredible. I saw her do Giselle, Cinderella, Swan Lake. It's like, she has just risen through the ranks so fast. Like, I'll be really sad when she leaves because I feel like she and Chase are going to end up getting signed off to some other bigger, better company.
Yeah, you never know. You never know with careers like that. And also, it's usually so short-lived. But people have been some have longer careers, but there's no denying that the body, does deteriorate and start falling apart over time, overuse and all those things. It's just part of, we're not made to just be like, I work perfectly 50 years later.
And what else is interesting about her, I didn't realize until recently, she has scoliosis, and it's pretty severe.
Yeah, that's actually can be pretty more commonly found in dancers, dancers compared to the pedestrians. Forget what article I read on that, but there is a research article on that I thought, I was like, oh, really? So, which is why in common injuries, I bring up scoliosis, because I was like, well, I got to make sure that's in there.
Is that article in the Google Drive?
I don't know, honestly. So great question. So regarding the articles that I've been adding into it, I started off with IADAMS, all their research articles. I'm going through 2016. I have not gotten all the way through and I'm just going through 2016. I'm happy to add more, but when you're presenting places, they always want the last 5 years. They're always just like, oh, that one. So that's why I'm doing that. And then from there, I've had several rabbit holes, meaning I'm like, ooh, I want to look up, lateral ankle sprains right now. And then I just go off IADAMS, and I'm just like getting a bunch of articles to just throw in, not even like, a little bit looking at the dates, but just going down and just gathering for a particular injury. So it's going to take time for me to fully get there. I don't know if I've completely finished diving into all of scoliosis yet. Yes. Anybody else have dancers? Any other dancers? And then for you guys, I know a lot of you guys have danced in here. I'm curious, what level do you think you got to as your techniques were as dancers? Like, say we had corps de ballet, we move up to a soloist, where do you think you would have, where do you think you got technique wise? I personally think I would have been lucky to have been corps de ballet. I think I was still a little bit beneath it. I got pretty far. I'm proud of where I got, but it's very hard to perfect. Anybody else? Think you could do the ensemble?
Well, if no one else is going to talk, I'll say something.
Well, that's just giving me the hard head shake, like absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I can honestly say I'm nowhere near that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, by my senior year of high school, I was training under a former prima, and doing like 30 hours a week with her. Like, I wasn't in high school really, like online college and stuff like that. And so I got a couple traineeships with like small companies in the South at the end of that year. And I think I could have risen up through those ranks if I had wanted to, and like she also was very much like, you should audition for Ballet West. Like I know the director and everything. But I think ultimately what did it for me was that I couldn't only do ballet anymore. Like I needed to branch out, and hence I was a modern major in college because I was just craving jazz, modern, contemporary, like hip hop, tap, anything. Like I was desperate for variety. So I think, and since I got to keep doing ballet in college, like if I had, even though I was a modern major, I think if I had really pushed myself, like to get a traineeship and stay with it, or like be a ballet major, maybe if I was lucky, I could have ended up in a corps. But honestly, that was not the life for me just because of lack of variety. Like I couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I get it. All right. So now I want to move into what we're dealing with today and how this affects ballet training. Right now, we have all these dancers who are like in home. They're not going to their dance studios. So what a lot of studios are doing are filming, and then the dancers are dancing at home. Now, I want you to start thinking what possible injuries could happen from home with the dance steps that you have learned. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be in language. What do you think the effect they may have on their body from dancing on carpet, from dancing in a smaller space, having smaller arm room, leg room, less room to travel, maybe a more slippery floor, maybe a stiffer, stickier floor? What are
not sprung?
Not sprung floor. Obviously, they're not going to have somebody watch them to be able to give them corrections, but that aside, or including your thought process, I want to give you guys a second to just like share some thoughts on some injuries that could happen during this time.
I'm thinking slippery floor because I'm very clumsy and I slip on stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Easily strains. Maybe even like for me, I had a hip labrum tear. Actually, I think I have another one in my other hip. Not the point anyway. So if it's severe enough, I tore my labrum just pushing off from skating. So even slippery floor, just wrong place, wrong time, and just there goes your hip labrum.
Yikes. Yeah, I would think more of like maybe like tendinopathy type things, just because like maybe they're compensating for that slippery floor, so their foot positioning or their like, you know what I mean, that it can kind of lead to stress to tendons and stuff like that.
I'm also wondering, like, I mean, not that I would do this first in home, but heaven forbid they decide to work on jumping an allegro of any type in home. That's just like screaming shin splints or something else to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Stephanie, any thoughts? I'm totally calling you out. What's Stephanie?
Hi, I was eating tacos earlier very unattractively, and I just never popped up my video in time.
Okay, we all would have been dealt with that. So
I wish I was having tacos.
Yeah.
I wish I was having tacos.
Yeah. I was thinking like I feel like warm-ups might not be as like maybe intense, like when you're not actually physically like at a bar with everybody. Maybe you don't feel like your warm-ups are as good, or you don't think about them as much. So that was kind of what I was thinking. I just watched like somebody streaming a video today of online ballet classes, and I was like, I feel like it'd be so hard for me to like get in the zone if I was in my apartment and I like am watching the neighbor walk the dog next door, So I just feel like that would be kind of a difficult thing, is just being serious about warm-ups and before you start doing all that stuff.
Yeah. Joe.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think could be possible injuries during this time while our people are at home?
Wait, one more time. What's the question?
Oh, yeah, no problem. So the dancers are doing their ballet classes at home over video. What are possible injuries do you think they could suffer from during this time?
Well, any injuries could be tendinopathies, like everyone said.
Mm-hmm.
Stress fractures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be any kind of overuse injury. I mean, I think everybody is susceptible to anything. I mean, when I worked with some dancers, performers on Broadway, one of the reasons why their knees hurt, and this is what they're all saying, is because the stage is metal, and they do 2 shows a day. So, I mean, you could have one argument that says, well, yeah, you're doing 2 shows a day that are very demanding, but then there's another group that says, well, hey, it's a metal stage. So, these are just the occupational hazards.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you just be lucky and have some good genes.
I actually want to dive into that more with you, Joe. Which theater has metal, or is it commonly in a lot of the old theaters it's metal?
The New Amsterdam Theater on West 41st Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a pretty big time theater, and most of the injuries are people that are between 22 and 38. They're young people. So most of the people that have the most injuries, they're in their late 20s. So yeah, so I'm saying, they tell me all the time, they have base chondromalacia, they have sore ankles. But like I said, is it really the stage, or because the body is resilient, or is it the fact that it's the workload?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Tough.
Kylie.
Ironically, we just started our lower leg ankle foot case today. So we'll see how much I learn because it's online. But I will have a much better answer to this question in 2 weeks once I learn all about it. There was actually some ballet slides in our PowerPoint this morning, and I was like, where is Jenna Eater? But I mean, I was thinking personally about my fun times trying to choreograph our video from last week. And me attempting the jumps, which was hysterical, and my roommates had a great time watching me. They were having a show. And because I have this teeny tiny tendency to pretend that I'm better at dancing than I am. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. But so I was just like, I'm just gonna go for it, and I would just some of the every single jump I would land toe in instead of toe out and almost fall, and then I would almost do a swing, and I was like, this is not gonna end well. So I mean, granted, I would hope the likelihood of injury is a lot less for people that are a lot more trained and also have actual shoes instead of socks in a terrible apartment living room that I have. But needless to say, I think there's definitely an increased fall risk, especially for turning and stuff like that. If you think about people turning on carpet, they're used to having that flatter surface underneath, let alone having the carpet to deal with. And I think there's also hazards of husbands walking around the house, or God forbid pets or furniture. And there's just a lot of other things to take into consideration that you wouldn't normally have to deal with in a giant empty room of a dance studio, that now you're dealing with I have a very small space to work with, especially you consider the dancers in the 500 square foot New York apartments. There's not exactly a lot of room to work with, so that can be an issue too. And I mean, I'd imagine, I've seen a lot of videos too of people doing workouts outside, and then you get into the whole, that's just a downhill spiral from there about, all the other hazards you have of being outside. God forbid you end up, dancing into a pothole. Oh God, there's just a world of things that could be possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Alexis, do you want to chime in? You there?
I'm here.
Hi, honey.
Hi. I had to step away for a second.
Do you want me to restate the question?
Yes. What am I chiming in on?
Oh, yes. So we're talking about how things are today, where a lot of people are doing their dance classes at home. So now that we know the language and all the different steps and everything, they're doing a ballet class at home, what injuries they could be exposed to. We have so far, some people were saying tendinopathy, pulled hamstrings, any type of overuse. What else? What did I miss, guys? Hip, messing with your hip labrum, falling,
shin splints,
shin splints, Cool. What else do you want to add to possible injuries during this indoor dancing save yourself time?
I mean, this is purely my perspective and purely my opinion. And I'm really sorry I did have to step away for a second, so I didn't get to listen to all of everybody else's comments. But I don't think they're increasingly different from them dancing anywhere else. Because like ultimately my perspective is that injuries are a reflection or are in direct proportion to a dancer's level of body awareness in terms of what their body capabilities are, and in terms of it's directly proportional to environmental awareness and how ready their bodies are for that. So how good they are at noticing those two things, I feel is what's going to be a higher indicator versus just strictly going from one environment to another. Comparatively speaking, it could be the same thing as going from your studio to a theater when you have a show. It's basically, you're just talking about a change of environment. And I think we as clinicians actually have a really good opportunity to really talk about how we condition our dancers. Teachers have a really good opportunity to increase their creativity and increase their teaching opportunities in terms of how they teach body awareness, so that to a larger extent than I at least think it is now, to a larger extent, it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing.
Yeah, I love that.
So, yeah, there's just, yeah. Does that kind of answer the question?
It's awesome. It's freaking awesome. I love it. And a different way of thinking about it too. It's freaking brilliant as always, Alexis. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I loved everybody's thought process on here. None of this is wrong. And the reason why I wanted to dive into this, like what could be possible injuries or, just get us to brainstorm on this, is because this is a time, and this is what you will be doing when you go to a clinic. If they don't have dancers, if you want to move off on your own, this is a time to think as an entrepreneur, always. This is not, everybody's doing this stuff online. So where would you fit in, and how could you get yourself in to their computer, them to want to do a telehealth session with you? For that things that they would be looking up at that time. So Alexis made great points about like levels, where they would be at their level of body awareness. So keeping that in mind, and also with everything you've been saying about spatial problems. A big thing here in New York City, in the small apartments, is hitting things randomly with your hand or banging something with your knee because we don't have space. I was talking to a dancer about that, and she was laughing with me about how that's like the biggest issue. It's just like, oh, the chair's there, because it's not necessarily that open space, whereas where she's going from, like, say, the studio from the studio to a theater, there's not a random cat running around like you were bringing up, Kylie. So all those external factors can be a bit more unpredictable for you. So I want your brains to start thinking in this way. What are things they look up? When would they, in these cases, since most people are stuck at home, well, I'm definitely experiencing that in New York. People are stuck at home. What would make them ultimately want to see you during this time? Let me mute it. What would make them want to see you at this time in order to get better? That's huge. A lot of people are losing business. A lot of people may lose their jobs. I already know some people who have lost their jobs. Honestly, I'm grateful for it because they were still going to these outpatient clinics and being exposed by so much. I was like, so I'm glad. Hopefully they'll live. And my brain like farted. You guys know when my brain farts, what happens. Like, I'm just like, oh, new world. But my point being is I want your brains to start thinking like this. What are they searching? Even if you have any people who are currently or still in dance, find out, reach out to them, be like, what have you been doing? It might just be watching TV or whatever. See what they're posting during this time, what they're leaning towards. See whose classes they're taking. Are they taking from their studios? What space they're dancing in? Like this can be a learning time to better even. And now that you know or even been reminded of all these ballet steps, more of their world. We will dive into their worlds more in module 6, but we have time. And right now is when we're going through something so different, which can just be an opportunity to go, wonder what's going on with them. Like I'm doing a test right now on back pain. Back pain is such a common, it's like a cheating thing regarding marketing, because everybody Googles low back pain. But I'm doing a thing amongst my performers, and I'm doing these posts daily about the back. Today it was so simple. I just did. I said, ooh. I'm like, name a movie with the word back in it. Bonus points if you, this is just for them to start associating me with back. And then eventually I'm going to start going into building more and more content about the back. I have an online wellness program for back pain management. So there's a reason to it, but I'm just kind of catching and seeing if it works. It might fail. I don't know, but it could be a source of income and a source of helping them. The back pain management can be, both for like some sort of recovery, as long as everything's okay by doctors. It can also be preventative. So it's a win-win in the physical therapy viewpoint. So yes, that being said, I have not introduced my sign that is behind me. So I was cleaning my apartment today, because that's when you do when you're stuck at home. And I could not believe this. This is amazing. Don't mess with my tutu. I wish there was more of that everywhere. Just don't mess with my tutu. It's so much more polite than saying a swear word. Don't you agree? Okay, so now as we are going into, any questions? Sorry, any questions? Great. As we go into next whole week, I'm going to slip into the DMs. We're going into technique. So this is where it may still be familiar to some of you, but we're just deep diving into all the aesthetic, everything. So you'll understand even more so when I was saying, for those who aren't familiar with Balanchine, where they're hiking up their hips in order to get that up. That is something in the Vaganova technique. We don't want that. We want the square hips. So I'm going into every single step and going into massive depth on how it needs to properly be done. This is where we have 2 weeks for this. Honestly, since we're stuck at home, it'll probably go faster, but I'm still going to give you the full 2 weeks, because I also very much, if you haven't done the homework assignments, I want you to get those done, so you can put them in either posting in the group, or the Google Docs are new. So try to start putting this stuff in the Google Docs. For people with the videos, I'm brain's been thinking about it. What if I had you upload it as a YouTube video, so then you can just put it like as a link in there, like on a page? Like, what do you think? Because I don't have like unlimited space in a Google Doc. What do you guys think? Do you think that could work if you did a video thing?
I think you could also upload the video to the drive.
No, that's what I'm saying. Sorry, I wasn't clear. Angie, I was thinking that's going to take up space on there. I don't have space, so that's what I'm saying, the YouTube thing. Would that work for you guys, like doing that? You can put it as unlisted.
We've had to post so many YouTube videos now that we're online of us doing skills. I have been, like, literally my computer has just been exporting files all week. It is completely normal to me now. I have done hours and hours of footage and recording. I am so technologically challenged, and now I am a genuine YouTuber. So it's fine.
Well, I know someone here who's really not technically challenged, and she's from Hogwarts. So, I mean, you need to teach us how you do that, by the way. Can you please do a how-to video in the group? Like,
I think there's like that stop video thing at the bottom left, and if you click the up arrow, you can click on like choose virtual background.
No way. Enable this feature anyway. Hold the phone. Computer doesn't meet requirements. to use virtual background without a green screen. Use macOS. What? Okay, I'll figure it out later. Okay, you guys all need to.
I literally just saved a picture to my computer and chose that one.
Yeah, you have to. It doesn't have like stock photos. You have to like have your own pictures. And I was like, all of my pictures are random pictures from my textbooks that I screenshotted.
Savannah, would you do a live video on how to change your background, or like, and just showing everyone how to do it? So that way, I would love for us next week to all have different backgrounds. I might be in a field of grass. I don't know.
That will be in Puerto Rico.
Exactly. Lizette will be in the background. It'll be her and her friends in bathing suits, like, hey. Joe's like,
how to do a live video.
Difficult, huh?
You have to show me how to do a live video first.
How to do a live video? Really?
Just like, do I just do it in Zoom by myself?
Oh no, you can just go into the Facebook group and hit live.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
and if you want to use the YouTube, I can help anybody who needs help, like with the unlisted. Just let me know.
The
YouTube.
That makes me so happy.
So much YouTube.
So much. Okay.
Yeah, if anybody's looking for some comedic content, just find my YouTube page deep in the bowels of YouTube, and it's just me and my roommates in our living room, just randomly trying to do our lumbar and SI joint skills, and it's just a mess.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love it. I love it. Okay, you guys, I'll be in touch with you and stuff during the week, just doing like little check-ins. I want to start just checking in with you guys, how you are, honestly, in addition to all this stuff, because this is just not an easy time. Any feedback, anything that you would like from this, the step stuff? I want you to start thinking in that thing too. Yeah, go for it, Kylie.
I don't have feedback, but I have a question. How are you? You always ask us how we are. Nobody checks it on you, Jen.
This is my friend. Only friend. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm good. I had a breakdown on. Oh, it was before we met last week. I had my meltdown on that Sunday, and I told you about that, where I had the taco bell. I've been doing actually really great. I did a post in the Dance Teacher Network and also on my 2 Facebook profiles, Jenna Cantor, Jenna Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh's with musical theater people, Cantor's medical, you guys. And it got so much response that everything else had to like go on pause for me to I had over 300 people interested. And what I'm doing is providing, and this is where you're figuring out how to be of service to people. So I'm providing this for free to all the dance studios to help them stay open. And it's my difficulty doing develop pay program and improve your turnout program. And they get to charge whatever they want. They accept the payments directly. They keep 100% of the profits. Each program is 8 weeks long. It's made to be able to do at your home because they're exercises. And there's a whole way where they record. I had to create these systems that were not created yet because my checking in was on the phone or, texting with my friends who've been doing it. So I was like, crap. So I had to get all systems in place. I had to get, I refilmed everything because everything was done in my pajamas before because it didn't matter. I was testing it out. I was like, oh my God, it has to be professional. And I'm like, crap. So I had to do all these back end things, and including setting up emails. All of them gave their emails. I never asked for their emails. They all gave it to them. And then in the meantime, Facebook, they have less people working for Facebook right now. And there was a warning, and they say this on YouTube, where things might get blocked even if they're okay because they don't have people working behind the scenes to prevent that. It's on this like automated system. So because I'm replying to over 300 people, I've been consistently blocked from responding to things. Even on some of your posts, I haven't been able to reply for a bit because Facebook has blocked me. Like they're like, not yet. I'm like, ugh. But I know it's just the nature of what's going on. So, but yeah, so it has been crazy busy. Alexis and I work together on things. So we've been just like sharing things that we've been doing like on our online level. who knows how long this will last. So always think like an entrepreneur on this. There's so much opportunity. I never want you to ever feel stuck or like reliant on someone else to get the dancers that you want to work with, you know? They still need your help no matter what. So yes, I am good. I'm just workaholicing a lot. Yes.
You gotta work to keep yourself sane. I feel like that.
I
finally had the motivation.
It's good. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording now.